speaker for today is Dr. Arindam Chaudhary. Professor Chaudhary obtained a BSc in chemistry from University of Calcutta and a master's from the Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur in 1997, which was followed by a PhD in 2003 from Carnegie Mellon University, Pittsburgh. After a postdoctoral stint at Columbia University at New York City, Dr. Chaudhary joined IIT Bombay in 2006 as an assistant professor, where he established the first single molecule fluorescence spectroscopy and dynamics laboratory in India, with the intent of conducting interdisciplinary research. Currently, he is serving as a professor of chemistry at the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Amongst other recognitions, Dr. Chaudhary serves as the editorial advisory board member of Chemical Communications (RSC) and the ACS journal Chemical and Biomedical Imaging. Over the years, Dr. Chaudhary's research focus has been to elucidate origins of spatiotemporal heterogeneity in soft materials, biomolecular assemblies, and semiconductor nanocrystals, as well as develop microscopic tools to probe complex systems. Since 2015, Dr. Chaudhary's group have ventured into the study of instability of optoelectronic properties of halide perovskite nanomicrocrystals films, which are being used to develop next generation solar, photovoltaic, and light emissive devices. Th- Thank you so much, Dr. Chaudhary, for joining us here today, and the stage is all yours now.
Yes. And thank you, Professor Chaudhary, for the very engaging talk. Your talk today certainly provided, am I audible, right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. It certainly provided a very good overview into the very fundamentals of single molecule spectroscopy and spatially correlated blinking systems. And this certainly takes me back to my own PhD days, but nostalgia aside, our audience has come in with some questions, and I would like to thank Dr. Atal Shivare, my colleague, for compiling these questions for us. So without further ado, I will jump into the first one. This came in from an audience member. Is this blinking maybe because of spatial shift in the position of the valence band and conduction band in the K space when light is illuminating some organic, inorganic hybrid perovskite-like materials? I think they were referring to slide 37.
Okay, so I do not know whether I have my... Am I still sharing or?
No.
Hold on.
Okay, I can stop sharing and maybe you can
No,
reshare.
it's sharing is fine. No problem. I have...
Okay.
I have no problem. You can request multiple presenters sharing for this webinar. Someone else is sharing. Okay.
Yes.
So maybe I can share if that's okay. So slide 37. So the question is if effectively there's an energy gap is fluctuating or not, right?
Yes.
So even if it's fluctuating by small amounts, I will not be able to tell. But when we collect spectral data, when we collect spectra as a function of time, then we do not see any change in the spectrum. All right. So that tells us that it's unlikely that we are changing the band gap of the system, even locally. So we do not see any slide 37, you said?
Yes. I think so.
38, right? I think maybe 39. So this, what I'm talking about, what I think may be a reason why, you say this, but I, unfortunately, as I told you, that these are kind of rare events. If you see this, can you see the slides?
Yes.
Yeah. So these are actually kind of rare events, right? So in these particular rare events, it is not so easy for us to tell when this change has happened, but when we collect spectral data, we do not see much change. And remember, we have to, in order to answer your question, I have to collect spectral data only from the interface region where I think the barrier would be created. Okay, so those experiments have not been done. So I'm being very blunt about this because we have not done such specific experiments at the interface level. But if you just collect spectral data from any other location, and if you look at blinking by itself, then no, there is no change in the band gap, at least not measurable by us at room temperature.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Chaudhary. Another question that we have is, does only the oxygen and moisture cause the quenching effect that is observed, or the blinking effect, or could there be other possible quenching agents also? And how
Oh,
is
yes,
that?
absolutely. There can be other possible quenching agents also. It's just that we are unable to uh, pin, the thing is, most of our experiments, and I should tell the story that when we first found this phenomena, I have to thank, the Mumbai city and the weather in Mumbai, because when we first did the measurements, we are in the end of summer and the beginning of monsoon. And that is a time when the humidity is very high. And let me go back, okay? And under those high humidity levels, I don't know whether you guys can see, right? Under those high humidity levels, we can see this vigorous blinking happening. And then later, much later, we did controlled measurements specifically under oxygen and dry oxygen, moist oxygen, dry nitrogen, and we have done a whole bunch of experiments. So far, we have used only a certain types of gases, but we have not exhaustively explored what other things that have uh, that are uh, that can cause the blinking. Does that answer the question?
Yes, yes, it does. I think in the interest of time, because we are already 5 minutes over, we will just close this Q&A session here.
You
But
can
we did have a lot more questions,
you can
and
take maybe a couple, I don't know, maybe take 1 or 2 questions. If there are brief answers I can give.
okay, maybe just one more
All right,
final
fine.
one. Okay, so I know firsthand to an extent that how intense and laborious the data analysis for these
Yes.
things can be. And with the advent of AI into every sphere of research, do you think AI can help us with data analysis of these systems, of this
Yes.
experimental data?
Yes, the answer is definitely yes. It's just that we need to generate much more data.
Yeah,
And the more data we generate, I think AI will become very, very important tool to interpret our results.
great. I think with that, we can close this session today, Neha. Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, again for the very engaging Q&A session.